Welcome to Conversations with Callie. Today I have Doug Murray, who is the General Manager of the Murray Auto Center here in Brandon. Doug was also acclaimed the Business Person of the Year award by the Chamber of Commerce of Brandon. Thank you, Doug, for coming on my show today.
Well, thank you for having me, Kelly.
Great. Could we dive into why you think you achieved such an honorable award from Brandon?
Well, I think why I received such an award is because we have great customers and great staff, and together between customers and staff, we've got a good business, and I think the Chamber of Commerce were good enough to recognize us for that.
So being the General Manager of the Murray Center, could you explain what your daily job is?
As General Manager of the Murray Auto Center, probably my main job would be to make sure all our customers are well looked after, getting good service. I need to jump in if something goes amiss, and I guess I just need to direct. We've got many great employees at the Murray Auto Center, and just need to do whatever I can do to help them look after our customers, both in sales and in service.
So another part of your title, you're the CEO of the Murray Auto Group. Could you explain that, because it's a Canada-wide job?
Yeah, I've got my father and three brothers. I worked with my father, Claire, for many years that many people know. He's retired about five years or so, but I've worked with Claire and I work with my three brothers, and we expanded out from Brandon so that we own dealerships outside of Brandon, Winnipeg, Dauphin, Portage, in Saskatchewan, in Alberta, and in BC. So I'm the CEO of the Murray Auto Group, which encompasses all those dealerships that our family have investments in, and so I do that really on the side besides running the Murray Auto Center here in Brandon.
And so you're speaking about your father and your brother because you were born into the company. Could we start with the past of the company, how it got started?
Oh yeah, the company started in Souris, Manitoba in 1926. My grandfather was a car dealer, and then my father was a car dealer, and then I became a car dealer. Many of us follow our parents into their line of work, and I was lucky enough to be following Claire into a line of work that is very rewarding and a lot of fun and very exciting if you do a good job.
So you're quite successful, your family. You were saying how you were a car dealer. What do you prefer, your general manager position or a sales position?
I really love everything I do. I'm 59 years old, maybe getting to the point where many people consider retiring, but not me. I love my job, I love what I do, and I'm planning to work for a lot of more years. So I like everything that I do, whether it's working with our staff, working with our customers, planning growth for the Murray Auto Group. It's all fun. So
you went to school at the University of Calgary, I understand, for business, correct?
Yes.
Could you describe that experience to me?
Yeah, I think education is good. There's lots of different ways to get education. I think you can get education through sports. I played hockey and certainly got a good education through sports, but a formal education, I got my Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Calgary, major in accounting, and certainly that comes in handy. Any bit of education or training you can get certainly is helpful.
Did you have a preference for Calgary, or you just thought it was a great school?
I went to Calgary because I like to ski.
Oh, okay.
And
smart.
Calgary is closer to skiing than lots of places in Manitoba, and I wanted to get away from home for a while. And plus, I'd watched the University of Calgary hockey team beat the Brandon Bobcats the year before, and I thought, I want to play for a winner. And unfortunately, when I went there, they
didn't win.
Didn't win.
Going to your hockey career, you played for the Wheat Kings.
Played for the Wheat Kings, yes. I played for the Wheat Kings right out of minor hockey. I played midget hockey back then. You played midget hockey till you were 16, and then I played Wheat Kings 17, 18, 19, and then overage as 20. But had a couple of broken legs in that time period. They held me back a bit.
Do you think if that incident wouldn't have happened, you would have pursued hockey instead of your career now?
I certainly was trying to pursue hockey. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I would say the broken legs certainly hindered that. If I would have really persevered, I think I could have overcome it, but I just wasn't quite able to overcome it. I broke my leg when I was 17, and I broke it in November which put me out for the whole season.
Okay.
And then I battled back. I played every game when I was 19 during the whole season. And then when I was 20, I just came back from a pro camp, and Dunk McCollum was coaching that year, and it was a fantastic hockey team. And again, broke my leg in November and was out for the whole season. So that is tough to overcome.
So the overall hockey experience, just because I'm not much of a sports person, could you describe what it's like to be with a team such as the Wheat Kings? Because they're, like this year, they're in playoffs. What's the team like, the dynamic?
Well, it's fantastic training for a career in business or in sales, because it's all about team. At the Murray Auto Center in Brandon, we're all about team, and so you learn that when you play a sport such as hockey. So learn many things playing for the Wheat Kings. So it's all fun, but there's always challenges too, which again is a lot like business. Every day is a challenge, and every day is an adventure. You just never know where it's going to lead you, and that's what I think I really like about business and about sports, is it's very, very adventurous.
It's great how Wheat Kings hockey can tie into part of the success of the Murray Auto Group. Going into the Murray House Foundation for cancer patients, can we touch on that? Because I don't think lots of people know about it. Yeah,
the Murray House, it was a project that my wife Lori undertook, working along with Karen Crest and Carrie as well, Carrie Oriot. They worked together to raise money for the Murray House. So we were approached, and it's a fantastic project. It provides a home. People who are suffering from cancer have normally sometimes they have to go to Winnipeg for treatment, but we've got such a great treatment center here in Brandon. They can get the treatment here, but they need a place to stay if they're from out of town. And Murray House is a place where they can stay. It's close to the cancer care treatment center, and it just sort of provides them with a little bit of comfort when they and their family are going through a very tough time.
Is there a reason why your wife wanted to start a charity for cancer care?
Well, I think she is. She lost her father to pancreatic cancer a few years back, and I think that's one of the reasons. But I think we're all touched by cancer in some way. I'm sure that you are yourself, and it's truly a cause that was near and dear to her heart.
Well, good for you, because Brandon definitely needs a facility like that. Going on to a happier note, you are very active. I know you're telling me you fly a plane. Could you explain to us the experience of flying your own plane?
Yeah, well, I like doing things that I never did before. Hockey, I don't play hockey anymore because I got tired of doing that, so looking for new things to do. And I'm an avid outdoorsman, and I thought flying a float plane would be a lot of fun to do. So I thought I'd take my pilot's license and fly a float plane and get to places that are hard to get to. And once you start taking your pilot's license, you realize that, well, I don't want those big floats on the plane. They just kind of slow me down.
Okay.
And so you forget about the float plane part of it, but you do get your license. And one thing leads to another. So I ended up getting my pilot's license, and then I got my instrument rating. Well, first of all, I got my night rating, so you can fly at night. And then I got my instrument rating so that you can fly with just looking at your instruments. If it's foggy outside and cloudy and right in the middle of a cloud, you can still fly because you fly with your instruments. And that takes a bunch of training. And I had a wonderful fellow, Scott Andrew from Verdun, who taught me instrument flying. And so now I have a twin engine plane, because when you're in instrument conditions, it can be really icy and foggy, and you need a very robust plane that can get you through all those sorts of things.
And so what size of plane do you fly?
It's a 6-seater, twin engine Beech Baron.
Okay. And do you fly independently, or do you need an assistant to help you?
Yeah, I can fly all by myself, and I've taken it many places, right up to the Yukon Territories, the Northwest Territories, to Arviat, down to the Bahamas, flew it to Vancouver, been many places.
So taking the pilot's license, did you do it all in Brandon, or where does someone go about taking a pilot's license? Yes,
I took it all in Brandon with the Brandon Flying Club, and I took my multi-engine rating in Winnipeg at Perimeter Airlines in Winnipeg, and yes, mostly in Brandon, but a little bit in Winnipeg.
Was your wife a little nervous when you first told her you wanted to fly a plane?
Yeah, how'd you guess? She said, "I'll never fly with you. You're way too careless."
Yeah.
But I got her into the plane once, and she got really comfortable and really loved it. And now she's very comfortable about flying with me.
That's very exciting. You're also saying earlier that you guys have a cabin up in BC. Could you describe why you guys picked BC to put your cabin?
Well, I met my wife Lori when I went to University of Calgary, and her cabin was always at Invermere, where a lot of the Calgary people go, which is just the first valley into BC from Calgary. So we ended up going there in the summers, and my wife and daughters are there a lot, and I fly there every weekend to join them. It's a fun trip. It's 3.5 or 4 hours, and it's beautiful. When you're flying, it's a little different than driving. When you're driving, you have to watch the road all the time and not run into anything. But once you're up in the air and flying, and you have it on autopilot, you certainly need to be aware of what's going on. But it's more relaxing than driving. You can just sort of sit back and enjoy the view and talk to the controller every now and then, and watch your instruments, make sure the temperatures are all okay. But it's much more relaxing than driving, unless the weather gets bad, and then you have to. There are instances where it gets pretty. You have to pay attention.
So, what was your first flying experience like on your own, taking the plane up? Because I know for myself, when I get on a plane, takeoff is always the scariest part. What was that like for you?
Well, it's really quite neat when you're flying and learning. You're always with an instructor, and landing is always the scary part.
Okay.
You're going in, and so you get the feel of landing the plane, and the instructor's never too far away. He's got his steering wheel right beside you, so he can take over if he has to. But finally, it's your turn to solo, and then you're up all by yourself, and it's really a weird feeling to be up in the plane all by yourself, realizing the only way you're going to get down to the ground is with what you do. So the first couple of times, it's quite unnerving to be in the plane by yourself. But
are your daughters interested in flying?
Not really, not so far. Lindsay, my oldest daughter, took it for a little while and lost interest. But I myself have only been flying 12 years, so it's always something you can take up later in life as well.
You were saying that one of your daughters works with you at your business. That's really great how one of your children is getting into the business as well, because it's such a family-oriented business, correct?
It is fantastic. When you're in business, there's lots of people around, but it still can be lonely. You're away from your family a lot. You're working, so it's so wonderful to be able to work with a family member and have my daughter right next to me. And she's a real asset to the business. She's a lawyer, and she got her law degree from University of Calgary, and so she helps us out. She works both with the dealership in Brandon plus the Murray Auto Group. She works in our head office in Winnipeg as well, so she kind of goes back and forth.
And pardon me. I was going to ask about the customer base in Brandon, because they're part of the reason why you got the award. Can you describe the customers in Brandon?
They're the main reason I got the award. If it isn't for customers, you don't do very well in business. But Brandon is such a wonderful city, but the people here, I just think Brandon people are good, wholesome, honest people. You can do business on a handshake and your word, and they're mostly very understanding. We do make mistakes sometimes, and they are generally pretty quick to forgive, and we try not to make the same mistake twice. But doing business in Brandon with the customers that we get to deal with here is really fantastic and a lot of fun.
Well, Doug, I would just like to thank you for coming in today, and I think it's great for people to know the person behind the scenes of the Murray Auto Group. So again, that was Doug Murray, who is the CEO of the Murray Auto Group and the General Manager of the Murray Auto Center in Brandon. Thank you.